You're watching Inside Tennessee, and we have as our guest this morning Mike Odom, CEO of the Knoxville Chamber. We've been talking about sort of preparing for the future right now. So there was one point in the report which I thought was really interesting. Let me see if I can get this out correctly. Most of the jobs that we're going to be talking about that will exist in the year 2030, which is not that far away, actually don't exist here yet. Explain what you mean.
So 4 or 5 years ago, the Information Technology and Innovation Foundation, had to get that out, partnered with Dell to analyze the future of work. And what they said was by 2030, 85% of the jobs that will exist then do not exist today. Now, we're 4 or 5 years ahead of that, but still, it still says the majority of those jobs do not exist. And if you think about that, 2030, that's our high school freshmen right now. Our college freshmen, our high school freshmen will graduate from college in 2030.
Yeah.
Our fourth graders will graduate from high school. That's not that far away.
Nope.
And so when you think about how we need to attack this problem, how do we need to prepare them? We need to start doing it now. We need to work with folks like Knox County Schools and their new 865 Academy model to make sure that those academies fit where those jobs can be in that 8 to 10 year time frame. And that's why it's so critical for us.
That's startling. Don?
I'm going to change subjects a little bit, and there's a phrase that you've used that I like, the community furniture aspect, and that is things for people to do. And we have a great greenway system, for example, the urban wilderness, downtown and the music venues, and Ashley Caps and the Big Ears Festival. I'll put a plug in for Ashley. And but I look at that, and then I see the community pushback whenever they hear the first community dollar going into it versus private. How do you balance it, and what can you do as chamber head to bring private money into typically what are often public projects like greenways and parks?
Right, and I'm glad you went through that list. The term that we stole from Governor Bredesen when he was mayor,
by the way.
Thank you, mayor of Nashville, was that civic furniture. And he was trying to convince the Metro Council to support the building of the arena. And we can see how much of a catalyst that has been for Nashville. And the way he phrased it was really important for us. We have a great house, but no great house, the house doesn't become a home until it has the right furniture inside of it. And sometimes, and this is where we kind of add our own piece to this, is it doesn't always have to be the big dining room set. Sometimes it's the little table, little side table. And so, for instance, the multi-purpose stadium, that's a big piece of furniture that we need to do. And to your point, Don, is how long that has taken to get done, and the back and forth that was done is a good example of what you're referencing. But we also need, how do we continue to grow the urban wilderness? How do we take assets like the downtown island airport, and really make that more of a part of the community?
Unused jewel, really.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So those are what we're talking about. It can run the spectrum for that. Now, the piece that we're really looking at, to your question about how do we get the community from a dollar perspective on the private side, we're not doing this just because we want there to be a lot of things for people to do. That's not the mission of the chamber. The mission of the chamber is about economic prosperity, and for us to get economically prosperous more as a community, we've got to keep the talent so that those jobs can be able to be filled, and that's what we want to do. And so if we can make our plans to make the argument to say from the private sector, you're not investing in growing the urban wilderness or downtown island airport, you're investing in the way that you're going to keep your employees here or be able to
I think we lost a brewing operation because we couldn't get the greenway built out that direction, if I recall correctly.
I think what you're talking about is, in one of the words you actually mentioned in your report, how do we make Knoxville cool? I mean, everybody knows Nashville is the cool place to go now, right? Now, I don't, because I don't live there now.
Cool and crowded.
Cool and very crowded, and bad traffic problems. But whose responsibility? I mean, I understand it's certainly the chambers. Yes. You all are at the center of it, and the developing and helping with business. But is it also government? Is it part of our government's responsibility, city and county?
Absolutely. We will not accomplish this as a community unless we all have a part of it. And Susan, you've heard heard me say before, when we do this type of work from the Chamber's perspective, our position is we will lead if we need to lead, we will support if we need to support, and we'll stay the heck out of the way if we need to stay the heck out of the way. But a lot of the infrastructure part of this, the civic furniture, may be more government components of that. The post-secondary institutions, education institutions, those are going to be critical. But we had a huge announcement last week or the week before with Tennessee saying they're going to commit $50 million over 5 years to hire 44 faculty research members who are going to be focused on things like bioinformatics and genomics, the future of mobility, artificial intelligence. That is exactly what we need. So they've got a part of that. Part of the big three and the government pieces of that is saying, look, it's not about just what happens in your building or an OR&L's perspective within the fence. It's how are you making this a better community? Because if it's a better community all around, it's easier for you to attract and keep the researchers that you need to continue your work. So it is all of us that have to dig in and do this work.
And one other point, we just have a few seconds left, Mike, that I wanted to ask you. We have people, obviously, who watch us who are not living in Knox County. They live in Blount or Sevier or Loudoun or wherever. This is not, although maybe Knoxville is, or Knox County is kind of the main part of the engine, the outlying counties also have a role to play as well, right?
Absolutely. Blount County has the same issues we have in terms of being able to retain and attract talent for their employers. Our goal is really on things like research and development and the headquarters, but they're going to be manufacturing and there's going to be distribution that comes around where they're going to need available land that we just don't have in Knox County.
Definitely.
So really, if we do this correctly, it's going to be a regional initiative that helps all of us around the region.
Mike Odom, CEO, Knoxville Chamber, we appreciate you taking the time this morning to talk to us about it. We will be around to watch all of this hopefully evolve and become a success. You are watching Inside Tennessee. We're going to come back after this break and talk a little politics.